Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Standing Stones fundraising charity stream for Blunt Pride, because we can't name things short. It's real bad. Um, Thank you guys for tuning in and watching Monster Care Squad. We are currently raising money for Blount Pride. Blount Pride is the pride organization for Blount County, Tennessee. Is the home to a number of members of the cast here at Standing Stones. It is an organization trying to put on a pride and some community building for queer folks here in rural Tennessee. Turns out prides, you know what? They're expensive to put on, and they need money. So we're trying to get them some fat stacks of cash. Um, so Sam, would you like to introduce Low Stakes, please?
I would love to. So the game that we're playing today is Low Stakes. I'm just going to keep reading from the intro doc. Low Stakes by Craig Campbell is a rules-light comedic tabletop role-playing game where players portray gothic horror monsters sharing a home and living together in the modern day. You can get it on DriveThruRPG. Just search for Nerdburger Games. I'm Sam, and playing with me today we have... Well, actually, here we go. I'll actually give my real intro. I'm Sam. You can find me on Twitter at SAKalo, and you can find the stuff that I do at my portfolio website, www.samkalo.art. And playing with me today, we have Liz.
Hi, I'm Liz. I am currently, you can find me at heronskeepstudio.com, and I am planning on playing a character who is not quite with the times and is very much into music and hanging out and sucking the life force from you.
Yeah.
And I'm Danielle. You can find me on the internet at RedtailTalk90. You just heard me. If you were listening to Monster Care Squad, you know who I am. It's going to be fun.
Hell yeah. Our lines, which are things we absolutely do not want to see, are racism, sexism, transphobia, homophobia, anti-Semitism, violence against children or animals, sexual assault, domestic violence, intimate partner violence, emotional abuse, self-harm, suffocation, drowning, and claustrophobia. Whole laundry list of stuff. Mm-hmm. Our veils, which are things we're okay with including, but we won't leave on camera, are Stevie situations, terminal illness, pandemics, and depression. Content warnings for this game include smoking and recreational drug use. I've gotta say, I'm guessing our vampires are stoners. Or something.
It's the problem is that Liz's character is a flower child.
I see. So stoner.
They are a child of the 60s. Actually, their 60s go back quite a bit farther than the 1960s. She has been following bands for her entire life. She didn't actually realize that was different from anybody else until she kept realizing that time kept passing and she wasn't actually getting any older. But she started out, going down that path and basically doesn't understand why the whole world isn't just a big commune full of music happening all the time. But
that is very fun. Sorry. Did I interrupt you?
No, that my cats are having a dispute in the background. I'm terribly sorry.
I see.
No, it's fine. We can't hear them.
Okay.
We get it. It's not a live stream if somebody's cats don't start causing trouble. All right. The character that I'm playing today, his name is Garion. He uses he/him pronouns. The playbook that I will be using is called The Stickler. I'll read off what my playbook is. You're particular about, well, everything. You like things how you like them, and you lose your shit if things aren't just right. You often irritate others to no end, but at least you're reliable. My character is Garion. He is a tailor. He is about... he's a couple hundred years old. He was born in the 1600s. And he is currently the owner of the tailor shop above which we all live.
Oh, awesome.
Word. I am playing Kiki Gathan. I am playing the playbook The Caregiver. which I definitely have open already to read, like Sam did. Sure. You're often the poor bastard that has to get the actual work done. You take care of everyone else, neglecting your own hopes and dreams, sometimes to your own detriment. Kiki is big and strong and also a werewolf.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. I should probably say that I'm playing Janice. Also, she goes by Moonflower. She's playing the Anachronism playbook, and it says that you are better suited living in another time, completely out of place in the modern world. You are set in your ways and have trouble dealing with the speed and complexity of modern day life.
Incredible.
Janice was written for it.
All right. Hi, Arrow. One of my classmates from my classes here. Okay, so today our characters are going to be solving a problem. The way that this game works is that we use a story outline from the book. Today, the story outline we're going to be using is the bureaucracy. I just held my book up to a camera that is not on. So, here's our story outline for the game that we're playing today. The way that this game works is pretty simple. It's mostly just freeform role-playing with a couple of checks. But we will see how this game goes as we play. It's the first time I'm playing this game, and I think it's the first time everybody else is playing this game here too, so we're going to figure it out together.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we have 4 currencies in this game. We have, the 4 C's. We have currencies, dice checks, complications, and confessionals.
Mm-hmm.
The way the game plays out is I'm trying to find that page of the PDF.
Page like 9-ish. Well, it depends on what you're looking for. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to read through the rules of this game so that the listeners can get a sense of what we're doing?
I think we should go over them, but that's kind of long to read.
True. Do either of you guys want to summarize the rules? The way the game plays?
Okay, so we go back and forth making scenes and play them out. It's a role-playing game. You get how that works. If during a scene you are trying to do something that is in one of your problem areas, something that you are not very good at, then you must... Yes, it is a What We Do in the Shadows game.
Yes, it is.
Dirk.
Absolutely.
If you try to do something you're not good at, you have to make a dice check wherein you roll 1 die and try to meet a target number. If you succeed, great, you get confidence. If you don't succeed, then a complication happens. You can also make a clout skill check, which you have specific skills that are called your clout skills. They're things you're really good at that you would do in order to gain clout. Only one person can have clout at a time. And so if you succeed in a clout skill, you get clout. You're taking it from someone else. Whoever has clout can roll an additional die on any dice check they make. Basically, it improves their chances. You can spend your confidence in order to roll additional dice on your dice check as well. In addition, we have confessionals. At any point during a scene your character's in, you can interrupt the scene and cut to a confessional scene for your character. There are 3 types of confessional that each player can make. You can only make 1 type of confessional per game. If the confession hinders or harms your character, you gain 2 confidence. If the confession hinders or harms another character, you gain 1 confidence. So the whole point is to try to gain confidence and or clout so that you can improve your roles in problem areas. Otherwise, bad things happen to your character. But other than that, it's just kind of standard. Some person is the lead player. They set the scene, and everyone plays out the scene until we feel like that scene is done, and the lead player changes hands. We have these fun story types that come with the game. The one that we have chosen is bureaucracy. The modern world comes crashing down on you as some form of bureaucracy invades your life. A neighborhood or government official or department requires you to jump through their hoops. And we're going to roll in a moment to figure out what that is, but it will provide us with the scene prompts that we'll be using for the game.
All right. Thank you very much
Mhm.
for going over that. So, I guess as part of the setup, let's figure out what's screwing up our life. There are 6 potential options. I'm going to roll a d6, and we're going to find out what's screwing up our characters' lives. Actually, before we do that, let's talk a little bit about how our characters met. How do our characters know each other? We're roommates.
Yes.
So, Garion has owned this tailor shop that he currently resides in, and we all reside above, for about 300 years. This tailor shop is in Manhattan. He owned it when it was... Actually, I don't know. How long ago was New York called New Amsterdam?
Fuck if I know.
Yeah, cool. He's been around since about then.
Okay.
He moved here from the Netherlands, where he was turned, and he has owned this tailor shop ever since. His main business consists of other creatures of the night who perhaps have interesting anatomy that makes it difficult for them to buy clothing made for mortals.
Mm-hmm.
I am just gonna ask Danielle, how did your character meet Garion?
Does Garion have any enemies?
Probably.
Okay. I think she intervened when one of his enemies was making trouble for him. Like, maybe she was just coming to pick up some of her tailoring, and there was some dude or person who was giving you a whole lot of shit. And she was just like, hey, back the fuck off. And also, I'm huge and could probably kick your ass.
That's hot.
So I think that might be how.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Moonflower came up from one of the subways with her guitar, and she sat down in front of your tailor shop and started playing and never left.
I see.
And at some point it was raining and she was still sitting out in the front of your shop with the guitar case open playing in her own world, and you were like, oh, Muffin. Come on.
He's like,
come on in.
He's like, are you just gonna sit there in the rain? Or are you gonna what's going on with you? My dude.
and they look up at you and they're like, oh, hi. And they just kind of follow you inside and just randomly just kind of moved in. She just goes out front and busks in front of your shop or down in the subway, or, she's found this new thing and she's not quite sure about how it works, but it's open mic night and she's enthralled with the idea.
I see. Well, I mean, you do you. That's fun. How did your characters met each other in my living room.
Probably, yeah.
Goodness gracious.
I'm sure that Moonflower just randomly walks around your entire shop in various states of undress as well, so you kind of have to follow around after her with like moo-moos, just throwing them over her, be like,
absolutely not. That's not gonna fly. That's not gonna fly here. Sorry. No way. All right, so let's find out what the problem facing our little household of creatures of the night is. Whoop. I have rolled a 3. The census taker comes around. That's unfortunate, because none of us I legally own this store. But as a legal resident of New York City, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, at least Kiki exists legally.
Yeah, probably.
All right. And what is our twist for this setup? It is... I'm going to roll again because I just got another 3. Actually, you know what? Whatever. I got another 3. So, census taker comes around, and we have committed 1 or more crimes. Which, to be fair, Garion is a vampire, so... yeah, he would have.
You know, Moonflower probably should not have opened the door with a joint in their hand.
Probably not.
Isn't it legal in New York now?
In New York,
I
I don't know.
Recreationally legal?
Maybe it wasn't a joint.
Maybe it wasn't a joint. It could have been a number of different things, substances that they were walking around with.
Good grief. Well, they're census takers, not cops, so...
Yeah.
Or they may not have a busking license, and they were sitting out front of your shop busking.
Good grief. Well, the census taker has come around. They want us to fill out a bunch of paperwork.
Hate that.
All right, so now we have scenes that we can play. Uh-huh. During the course of play. So, we're going to be going around. So, we are going to be going around around probably like twice or 3 times over the course of this game. We only have a couple of hours, so we're not going to be probably going for terribly long. And okay, that's fine. So, over the course of play, we'll play many of the scenes listed in the scenes section of our playbook here. Or playbook? Not playbook. Our whatever it's called. Story outlines. So, I will go first. We'll get this story rolling. The census taker has come around. Garion is not happy to see the census taker. But of course, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Roll 2 dice and add them together. Here we go. So, we have to jump through some hoops. Here's the first scene of the game. Got a 7. We've received a notification in the mail that the census, that they are trying to take our information for the census. I'm going to flip back to my character sheet. Awesome. We haven't discussed our powers. It's okay. They'll come up.
Yep.
So, our game starts. Garion begins this by walking from his shop into the main body of the house, which is up the stairs from the back of his shop, into the flat in which we all reside. Gonna take this stack of mail and put it down on the table and say, tapping the letter in my hand, well, this isn't good.
Kiki poking her head out from the bedroom. What isn't good?
Well, I mean, look at this. The government is coming around again. They want our information. Waving it towards Kiki, like, take this letter. I also want to point out, Garion looks about 18 years old, and he has for his entire life of 400 years. His entire unlife.
Uh-huh.
So he holds this envelope out.
Yeah. Kiki is, like, just wearing a tank top, is covered in grease. Who knows what she's been working on? Maybe, like, some kind of motorcycle component. Throws a towel, wipes her hands off on a towel, and gingerly plucks the envelope from Garion's hands and kind of, like, skims through it. Well, I mean, it's just a census.
Yes, but what are they going to do with that information, you know? Like, what do you want from me? God. Garion hasn't paid taxes in like 200 years.
I mean, it's really, all it's going to do is put us in the pool for jury duty.
You want me to do... I can't do jury duty. You deal with this. I'm gonna, you know... Oh, I've already done a problem area, which is let somebody else be in charge because I don't want to fucking deal with this.
All right. So roll a die, I guess.
I guess I'll roll a die. Where did my dice go? Motherfucker, they're there.
Your target number is 6.
Well, it's a 3, so fuck that.
Complication occurs.
A complication occurs. I snatched the envelope back from you. Actually, no, wait. I have to deal with this.
So what
I've
is
lived
it?
in this city. I've lived in this city for 300 years.
What is
They
it?
should know that I live here by now. Sorry, go on.
That's okay. What do they need to know? I mean, is it like a fan letter? Moonflower is completely like, she thinks that it is like fan mail for her. She is like,
I
oh,
look at Moonflower. I don't think the government is a fan of your plucking.
she looks at the two of you and she's like, meh, shrugs her shoulders, like walking away randomly because she's like, I don't even have papers. I don't know what you're talking about.
Do any of us legally exist according to the city of New York?
I think Kiki does.
Cool.
Moonflower definitely does not. She does not have any papers of any kind. She doesn't actually remember what her legal last name is, I think, at this point.
Incredible. How old is Moonflower?
Moonflower, the when she first started following bands, I think that we're talking like migrations from Egypt. She's like super old, but doesn't
Mhm.
care because it's like I've only been interested in music and everything else has just been rushing past me.
Yeah, I can see why that would be an energy vampire thing. Garion is just like, I don't have the energy. I don't have the energy for you to be feeding on me right now. We have to deal with this. The government's gonna come after us if we don't deal with this. If we don't, make this happen. Kiki,
Yes.
what do they want us to do with this information? I haven't bothered, and I'm gonna guess that Kiki moved in with Garion like semi recently.
Mm-hmm.
How often does the census happen, anyways? I have no knowledge of this.
Once every 10 years.
Cool. Garion did not bother to answer it 10 years ago.
Uh-huh. I mean, you just fill out some like demographic information, and they use it to update like their uh city lines and maps and shit. Like it's
What do they want with it?
that's it. They just want to know how many people lives here and like.
Well, I don't trust it. I'm going to go talk. I'm going to go find out what they want from me. I'm going to go talk to the very top. Where do I go for that? Turning back to Kiki, because it's not like Moonflower's going to know.
I don't know. City Hall?
I don't know who owns New York. Who owns New York now? They're clearly taking charge of their people.
That's not that they don't.
Well, I mean, New York. Does New York have a king?
No. There's a mayor.
Doesn't seem very well. I suppose we shall have to speak to the mayor then.
Okay.
This mayor. Fine. This mayor should have something to help us with. Garion starts like, I want to be clear. Around the time that Garion is doing this, it's around 8 p.m. On like a Tuesday night. He's like, starts putting on, a hat, a coat. He starts getting all dressed up in his like, kind of like Victorian-esque gentleman's outerwear. Looks over at Kiki and Moonflower and goes, "Well, are you coming?"
I think we cut to a confessional of Kiki. Kiki is sitting in the confessional and just staring into the camera like she's on The Office. And like it's just like the camera's on her for like 10 seconds, And then she just goes like, yeah, this might as well happen.
Smash cut to our opening credits of whatever our show is.
Yeah.
fucking are we gonna get copyright struck if I try to play music on stream? I don't even know how to
Probably.
do that. I'm not the one who's streaming. Anyways, smash cut to fucking you're dead. Anyways, somebody else's turn to frame a scene.
Okay. If we go in the call order, then that looks like me.
Hell yeah.
So first, let me mark off that confessional. I don't think it did either of these things. So we'll just mark it and just leave it there. It's fine. All right, roll 2d6. Seven. That's not gonna work. Again. 6. Okay.
6. Canvass the neighborhood door to door. Oh no.
God.
Good lord.
Oh god. So we cut to did Moonflower come with us?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Okay.
Moonflower just kind of follows along. She has a sling bag with different instruments kind of poking out of it, but she is on the ride. Let's roll.
Excellent. So we cut to the three of them just like walking down the neighborhood street. Or actually, we cut to Gary and Moonflower walking down the street, and Kiki is at the door of the house behind them, apologizing to the person who lives in that house. Like, I'm so sorry to have bothered you. Don't worry about it. We know the mayor doesn't live here. It's okay. You just gotta kind of humor him sometimes.
Garen's like looking down at his watch. He's wearing like a very modern watch. He's wearing like a Fitbit. It doesn't have anything to tell him except for how many steps he's taken, but he's very conscious of how many steps he takes.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, well, this isn't working. How do none of these people know where the mayor lives?
Well, so also thank you, Izzy, for that donation of $10 to give Kiki clout.
Incredible.
So Kiki's like, I'm like, the mayor doesn't live here, and also it's night time.
Of course, it's nighttime. I can't go out inside during the day. Do you want me to die?
No.
He just raises his eyebrows like, okay. Why would I go out any other time than nighttime?
The mayor only works like 9 to 5.
Well, that's very irresponsible of him. What if his more nightly you know what I mean? Sort of huffs and like turns to like stand on the sidewalk, like with his arms crossed, like not terribly accessible of him. What if somebody who can only go out at night needs to speak to him? Gestures at himself.
It is generally difficult for night workers to get appointments with him. Yes. Listen, why don't, instead of looking for the mayor right now in this neighborhood where he is not, why don't we and she kind of like stops and is obviously thinking, and it's just like, I don't know what the fuck this is. This isn't a problem that we solve. You just fill out the form. And she
Moonflower would like to be helpful in this situation, and so she
Uh-huh.
is
Oh boy.
she is actively listening to your conversation, and it occurs to her that we need to find, if the mayor isn't working, we need to find one of the people that works for the mayor, right? And so in her mind, she's trying to figure out who works for the mayor in New York. And well, don't the police work for the mayor? So she's now trying to find a cop actively in New York so she can ask them about it, their boss.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I see. Has she wandered away from the rest of the group?
Yep, she's starting
How
to
long has she lived in New York?
Oh, it's indeterminable at this point. She's just kind of on her own little world. She interacts with them on the regular though, because they try and run her off from the subway when she's busking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Incredible.
That sounds like it might be your social norm problem area.
Exactly.
So roll a d6, I guess.
6. That would be a 6.
Damn, fuck. All
Oh,
right.
you did it.
It's not anticipating that actually working. Excellent.
So first of all, you gain 2 confidence as you do something no one really expected you to do. So what happens when she finds this cop?
When she finds the cop, she goes up to him and she just starts looking at him, expectantly until he turns
All right.
until he notices.
I'm gonna take the cop because I'm gonna play Adlai here.
Mhm.
Adlai is my Javert.
Excellent. Oh, so good.
He is going to look up from well, I guess the scanner that he's been looking down at and say, sort of look her up and down with a sneer and go, "Can I help you?"
So she goes, I think we need to talk to your boss. Just blinks.
Is there a reason that you need to speak to the police chief?
No. And she looks at Kiki for a minute and she's like, oh yeah, the mayor. We need to talk to the mayor.
He's gonna look down at the notebook in his hand and go, he's gonna look down again. Look, you know, looking Moonchild up and down. Another just absolutely like derisive sneer and say, I doubt the mayor has much to say to you.
Well, he sent us this letter and and so we just need to know what he needs with our information.
You've been sent a letter by the mayor personally?
At this
I
point,
don't know why you're asking me. Ma'am, I'm a police officer. I don't have time for this. As you were.
She turns back,
starts walking away.
Moonflower is like, okay, I've done my bit. And is now looking around for a place to play music that is comfortable to sit at.
He's gonna sort of walk back and go, If you try to set up here, I will have no choice but to arrest you.
She looks at it and she's like, ah, I thought you were leaving. Never mind. And goes back to her group.
Garion at this point is sort of glaring at this police officer. They have they make eye contact. Garion flips him off. Adlai rolls his eyes and just turns and walks off. He's like, I don't get paid enough for this. All right. I think that's a good, this is a great point. I think
that's a good scene.
Yeah, it's a good scene. It's a great point for us to cut to, God, what the fuck are our dipshits gonna try next?
Yep.
Liz, I think it's your turn to roll the dice.
All right, so I will roll the scene, 2d6, 6, 7, 8. You hear about new rules, laws that will screw you. Well, I think you, yes. And our twist.
Oh, we don't
We don't do the.
The twist.
We
is
don't do a
for-
twist. The twist is
Oh,
for the
sorry.
like main problem right now, which is that there's a census happening, and we don't trust that what they're gonna do with our info.
I turn.
And-
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, and we've killed people because I'm a vampire.
Yes.
You know.
All right. So we have heard about new rules and laws that will screw you. I turn back to them, back to Kiki, and you, and with all honesty, going. They want to arrest us.
Is this like a new day? Sorry, I'm
sorry.
I'm seeing like what is the scene that's happening here?
So after that scene ends, I think that we go back to the apartment because we are not real sure. And Kiki's pretty sure that cop is going to arrest them. I feel like that's probably a thing.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the threat of arrest happens, Garion is like, right, I'm not dealing with this, and he turns into a bat and flies off.
Great. So we meet it back at the house.
Yeah, Moonflower goes back to the house, and I think that it is going to be the rising of the next night. As you're waking up, that we are going to try and find a new plan of going down to either City Hall or figuring out what's going on with the census. When we're looking at the census letter, does it have like more instructions on it of stuff we need to do, or are we in a point where we actively need to see the mayor? Because I feel like we need to figure out where we need to go next.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. It's your turn to frame a scene.
Okay, then Moonflower.
Up.
Okay. The Moonflower is like the door-to-door was not working. She almost got arrested, so she is thinking, where would she go if this were her thing? And so she has decided that she needs to go down to the most official-looking building in Manhattan that she's ever considered. And so, not the police station because she's been there. But she's also had to show up for court. So there's a courthouse that she knows of. So she thinks that we ought to go and try the courthouse next. So she's not sure what time they open or close, but she's sure that we can probably get in if we need to. Do you guys want to go down to the courthouse with her, or do you want to? She proposes this idea to Kiki to see if they think that that's something that they can do when you wake up, or if it's something that we need to do before you wake up.
I am very much asleep in my coffin right now. It's the middle of the day. Honk shoe, honk shoe, honk shoe.
I think you may want, if you're going to do this, you may want to try to do it without Kiki, because Kiki is going to try to stop you.
She can at least go down and find out where people go to be part of the census, and so she will go and attempt to try and get into the courthouse. I feel like it will go poorly for her.
I feel like this is another one of your problem areas. Yes.
Yeah. Likely. So yes, she's not real clear on what is involved, but she goes to the courthouse, and if you've ever walked into a courthouse, there are no actual signs that tell you where to go. They just assume you know where you're going, and so she just starts following people randomly in the building until until somebody stops her.
I think a young man with blonde hair. He's not very tall, but he's got an expression on his face that looks like he means business. He's got like a little uniform on or whatever. And he comes over to you and is like, "Ma'am, do you have business here?"
Yes, I am looking for the mayor.
Okay. Why are you following people around?
I assumed that they all had to go to the mayor.
Okay. Why don't you come with me over here? And he like leads you over to wherever his like little desk is. And he says, "Why do you need to see the mayor?"
He sent me a letter about the census.
Okay. Do you have questions about the census?
No, but I have a friend who has questions about the census, and he's very excited about it, and he wanted more information, and we were trying to figure out where we needed to get that information from.
Okay. Well, so the census is a survey that goes out every 10 years to allow the government to learn more about its constituents so that we can represent you better and make decisions based on the makeup of the population as opposed to just assuming what the population is. It's a survey, and the information you give is used for those purposes. We also use it to determine to pull names for jury duty. It is generally just simple demographic data. Do you? The mayor isn't really going to be able to help you with this. He generally doesn't handle this specifically. And the courthouse might not be the place that you need to be either. This is generally where we deal with like disputes. You might want to actually, I know who you need to see, and he writes down like a name and a building and an address, and hands you the paper. And he says, "All right, so you just need to go see." Oh, I need a character. God, is it fucking Galen? That'd be hilarious.
Oh my god, that'd be so fucking funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
go for it.
So you're gonna go see Galen, and he will be able to help you fill out your census correctly.
Are they available after dark? My friend sleeps all day.
Oh, night worker. Okay. I think you can make appointments for some like a couple days of week. They are available on a shifted schedule that does have a few nighttime hours. So yeah, you should be able to set up an appointment with them.
Great. Thank you so much. She tries to give him a hug.
No, no, thank you. I'm glad to help, ma'am.
Of course, you've managed to set up a situation where I have to talk to myself again. Thanks a lot. Oh boy. Okay. Gee, thanks.
I mean, it could also be someone who works for Galen.
It's true.
Let's see. I don't have any bureaucratic characters. I could play Cora. That would be funny.
Might be funny, yeah.
So I think Moonflower is going to take this back to the house, because now we're talking about setting up appointments and communications, and that is not her thing. But she's pretty sure that either either Sam or Kiki could do this, and it will be great. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not your character's name. Sorry. Anyway,
Garion.
Garion.
Garion the Tailor is his full vampire name.
That's awesome. Moonflower gets back on the subway. She comes back. She comes to the shop. She opens the door and she goes, Clearly, they are setting us up to be in a pool to be delivered into their jury duty, which I am assuming means that they want us for unpaid labor. That's what the census is collecting for us. But also, the nice man gave me a name and we can make appointments. And then walks off, handing Kiki the piece of paper.
Kiki kind of like stares after her and then kind of shrugs and is like, I mean, she's not wrong.
So I'm gonna take a point to have. So I realized I didn't quite explain this to you guys at the beginning of the game. This game is supposed to follow sort of a mockumentary style like pace because of the source material the game is based on. So I'm going to interrupt with a confession from Garion, who is not here at the time, but clearly, this was recorded after the fact, and have Garion be like, so obviously, we've all served on juries in the past. I served on a fair number of juries back in the 1700s or so, and let me tell you, I think it's a blast to watch humans yell at each other. I don't quite, I don't feed off of it the way that Moonflower does, but I do enjoy it. I think it's a great idea to go sit jury duty, but I don't want to have to, I'd much rather be a bat on the wall, as it were, during one of those times. and it cuts at this point to Garion looking at this letter and going, I see. Did he tell you who this Galen person was?
He said Galen would be the one that we would need to make an appointment with to talk to about signing up for the census, or what all the census was going to do. And he said he would have all of the answers.
I see. Shaky. That's how you say your name, right? Or Kiki's name, right? Perfect. Garion's not the type to use short hands for anybody.
Yep.
So, Flaky, how do we find this man?
Well, that building that it looks like he works in, we can look it up on the internet and see if they have.
Use your magic box thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll take care of that.
Excellent.
I'll start the incense for the magic spell for the magic box.
Hell yes. Thank you for your help in this trying time.
We want the ritual to be successful.
Of course we do. And I think that is going to be, again, Garion letting somebody be in charge, or at least, attempting to. And therefore, this is just one die, right? I'm trying to go for a 6?
Yes. Yeah. You can spend confidence to roll 2 dice.
Aha, I see. I have 1 confidence right now. I gain confidence by doing my problem areas, right?
By succeeding in your problem areas. You also should have, you might have gained confidence for that confession.
Oh, yes, I did. So I don't remember how much. Sorry, this is the first time I've played this game.
Yeah.
So it's a little rough.
If the confession hinders or harms your character, then gain 2 confidence. If the confession hinders or harms another character, introduce a complication for them to incorporate in the scene, then gain 1
I would say it probably harms my character to say he's absolutely ready to go play jury duty. Jury duty doesn't happen during the day or during the night, dipshit. So I guess I will take 2 confidence from that and spend it to roll 2 dice. And I've rolled a 5 and a 3, neither of which are a 6.
Nope. So a complication occurs.
The complication of one of you guys dealing with it. I knew I should have dealt with this myself. What complication does it introduce that you have to look this up online?
Let's see. I think that the website is down. Like either it's a really shitty website, as a lot of government websites are, or like it's just been subject to some kind of DDoS attack and is just not working. And so Kiki comes back and is like, so I couldn't get the phone number for the building because the website's down. So we may just have to go to this address and figure out. The person from the courthouse wrote down that like on Tuesdays and Thursdays they're open later than usual, so we could probably go just after sunset to ask for an appointment.
Perfect. Get it done.
Okay.
I have important work to do tonight. I can't deal with it. I trust you. Garion makes sort of a weird face after saying that and shakes his head and walks into the tailor shop to get something done because he has work to do. Y'all freeloaders live do what you want. Garion's got tailoring to get done. And now it's my turn to roll for a scene, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
All right. All right. I must suffer personal interviews. Excellent. So this is a thing that happens in our little documentary. So Garion is sitting on the little settee in his tailoring shop. He's got a little microphone pinned to his lapel, and he is sitting. And so something we haven't really discussed thus far is that there's a camera crew following our companions around the whole time. Like all the time. Because they're the subject of a documentary. Because that's what the purpose of this game is. Kind of. Sitcom style shenanigans. So Garion is sitting down. He is sitting in front of the camera and he's saying, so what exactly are we? Okay. Yes, I am currently trying to figure out how I can avoid giving the government too much information about my whereabouts. After all, I can't have them finding out about my meal. Because he's looking at the back of his hand. He's like picking at his nails. He's like, although I mostly try to stick to bags, I can't help it if once in a while I get hungry for a snack. And he's like, he's doing that thing where he smiles and his teeth are shown off a little bit. He's like, it's just not the same, We all do it. Flaky has been wonderful in helping me with the less sanitary parts of that whole operation. I would hate to get blood on my clothing, How does Flaky feel about this? How does Kiki feel? Does Kiki see this footage? Does Kiki know about this little personal interview? This isn't quite a confessional. This is more of
Yeah, I don't think she knows about this particular interview, but I think we get a quick cut to like shaky handycam footage of Kiki like scrubbing the floor in the tailor shop. And like,
I would never kill somebody in my shop. How could you? No, that's funny.
And then like hoisting whatever poor schmuck over her shoulder to either do some triage if they happen to still be alive, or figure out some place to put them if they're not.
Yeah, no, they're super not. And I think you get a quick shot of Garion like giving Kiki a pat on the cheek and going, "Thank you, dear."
He growls.
Not what they used to be. Oof, touchy. touchy. Well, I appreciate the muscle at least. You mutts and your muscle, after all. And he walks back into his into the house where they all live together after saying that. And I'm sure that's not going to come back to bite him later.
Yeah, and then like you see Kiki look over her shoulder, and then the shaky handycam footage like quickly cuts like away from whatever window it was looking into, and we cut back to the interview with Garion.
he smiles sort of at the camera and goes, Flaky is just such a dear. Very helpful. It's always nice to have someone around who understands the modern world. And I think that's the end of my scene there.
It's good.
Awesome.
Oh, do we want to take a quick break since we've been at this an hour?
Yes, that would be great.
All right.
Is Garion gonna get bit? Garion already got bit a couple hundred years ago. That's why he's still here.
Yep. Hey, at Brian. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm gonna at you in the thing. Yeah, this is. I can't wait for Kiki to lose her shit.
Oh yeah, no, that's gonna happen for sure. Also, like, I like the idea that like these bitches have been living together for a really long time, but they don't really like each other.
Yep.
Garion is very fond of Kiki, and Garion is very like Garion likes Kiki a lot. Would happily be held in her very strong arms. I'm sure she's not interested in that.
No,
from this dumb twink.
No, I think she has a soft spot for Garion, but like, also,
but also he's a piece of shit. Yeah,
also
no, I get it.
Yeah, all right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back in 5 minutes.
All right, we'll see you all in 5 minutes. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Whoops, sorry.
No, you're good.
Alrighty. So it is Danielle's turn to pick a scene.
It is indeed. I'm going to roll 2d6. 3, which is you have to talk to their supervisor. That's not right. Yes, it is right. I have to talk to their supervisor. Great. Kiki, who has never been a Karen in her life.
Hey, we're going to talk to the mayor, right?
Well, maybe this
No, we're
is
not.
talking to Galen's employees and then being like, "No, please, can I really just speak to Galen, please?"
Yeah.
So I think this is Garion told Kiki, like, "Look, I trust you to take care of this. Please just fucking take care of this. I don't want to think about this anymore." And Kiki's like, "Yeah, okay." So she shrugs on her jacket, and drives over to this building, pays the little fucking parking meter, and heads inside. And who is at the front desk?
Do you want me to play a character, or do you want Liz to play a character?
Whomever.
If you're gonna do Galen, do you want me to do this one?
Sure. Go for it.
Go to the desk. You see it's a little lady. She's sitting there. She is flipping a page, picking up her stamp, stamping the page, putting the stamp very carefully back, turning the page, picking up her stamp, stamping the book, putting the stamp back, looks up at you. Yes?
Hi. Good afternoon. I was hoping that I could get an appointment to speak to Galen today.
He pauses at you, blinks a couple of times, looks back down. Galen. Right.
His last name would be Glory in this setting, likely.
Yeah. Mr. Galen Glory.
Mr. Glory. Just a moment, please. She turns to her computer and she presses the button to make it come on. And you wait for a second. And then she starts typing in Galen. There we go. Enter. Pause. Pause. She looks at her screen. She goes, today? Looks back at you. He has openings at 3:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then she just stops.
I want you to imagine Kiki standing very politely at this desk, and obviously trying very hard to maintain a composure of polite interest and patience. And she, like, every single time this person lists a time, she, like, opens her mouth to say something, and then the person lists another time, she closes her mouth. And then she opens her mouth to say something, and the person lists another time, she closes her mouth. And when the person is done, she's like, 3:30 would be great.
3:30. Right. Today. Right.
Yes, please. Today.
You can see her push the button and a event window pops up on the computer and she goes, Galen Glory. And your name is?
You see her, like, cringe just a little bit. And she says, so first name Flaky, that's double L E K-U-K-E.
K-U-E. Yes.
Last name Gathin, which is Cethin.
I-N. Right. And the business to be discussed?
The census.
She pauses and she looks at you. The census.
Yep.
Right. Okay. You know that's a form, right?
Yep.
Okay. This woman has clearly just made appointments throughout the life and she has stopped caring what they're for. She clicks and you have a half hour at 3:30 today with Mr. Glory. She hits the enter key and then she goes, "Thank you. Have a nice day." And this creepy smile just spreads across her face like, "Oh, please don't. Please don't smile like that. Not now, not ever."
Thank you. I'll be back later.
She has already picked up the stamp and is ready to stamp another page. Stamp goes back and she turns the page.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Incredible. I am happy to play out the scene between Slakey and Galen if you would like, or we can simply imply that it happened.
Well, let's go ahead and
move
play it
forward.
out. I think that
Hell
would be
yeah.
more fun.
I think that would be very fun.
All
right. Yeah, this doesn't have to be anybody in particular's turn because it's just freeform. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you walk into Galen's office, and he is sitting. He is quite a bit older than Garion. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, older than Garion. Older looking, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
He looks to be about 25 years old. He's got a little bit of a goatee. He's got very long hair in the same color range as Garion's is.
Mm-hmm.
Bright orange. And he looks up from a desk and he goes, Miss, he squints at the name.
Gathan.
Miss Gathan.
Yes.
Yes. Your name is Welsh, is it not? My sister's name is, Fowlin.
Oh. Yes, it is Welsh.
Lovely. Never had the knack for the language myself. Anyways, how can I help you today?
Yes. And she kind of like takes a seat. And she says, "So, my household recently received the letter for the census."
Are you having trouble filling it out?
You could say that. Yeah, so could you why don't you help me fill it out here if you could? My housemates are concerned about what the government is going to do with the information.
Oh, well, they need not worry. Of course, as I'm sure there are many people who have problems with the census, but it is also a voluntary giving of information. They can give as little or as much as they wish.
Mm-hmm.
All it will do is help us in government with our running of things. He sort of smiles wryly as though to imply that they're not doing a particularly good job of running things. This man is a deeply beleaguered government employee. He is just fucking exhausted.
Oh, buddy. Kiki kind of nods, and says, my housemates are very particular about their information.
I see. Are they pardon my asking, are they citizens? Are they non-citizens of this of our fine sort of, waves a hand, our fine country here? Do know that if their immigration status is under question, we in the census department do not take or use or make use of that information. If that is what they are worried about, they need not worry.
That's very good to know, she says, nodding. I
don't know if any of that's actually true about census. I believe that's the case, though, that the census
believe
includes,
that is the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Includes, quote unquote, illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
And it can't be used against them.
Yeah. And she says, is there any kind of like follow-up that happens with this where we might expect any visitors?
You may expect a census taker to confirm the information in person, door to door, but I believe that all you have to say here is that you have already completed your forms and that we are all set. He sort of squints down at the paperwork and says, "You sure you didn't write this down wrong here?" And he's pointing at the age of, he's like, "You appear to have missed some pieces of information that we do need, namely the age of of your housemates and their demographic information." He smiles.
Wow.
He's like, "You're missing some stuff."
You did say that all the information was voluntary.
Well, I suppose, but all right. And he looks a little, well, if that is all, I believe it's time for my next appointment. He just shuffles the paper. He's like, I don't get paid enough to deal with this. He's like, well, thank you for your time, Ms. He squints at your name again. I'm terribly sorry. Could you repeat it one more time?
Gathan.
Gathan.
Yes.
Well, thank you for your time, Ms. Gathan.
Thank you, Mr. Glory.
I trust you'll see yourself out, and he's already like completely like checked out.
Yeah. Yeah, she heads out, quietly closes the door behind her, kind of like shakes her head a little bit, walks out, waves at the person at the front desk, even though that person is definitely not paying any attention to her whatsoever. And I think that's scene.
Perfect. We've done it. The census has been completed.
Yay!
Congratulations, our characters have done it. I'm so proud of you guys. Now what do we do?
Do we want to do it?
Yeah, I mean we could do another quote unquote episode of our show.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Oh my god. I'm just looking through the other potential games. Oh boy.
I really liked Lost Pet.
Lost Pet is very good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to roll a die on this. I just want it to be something really fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
This is absolutely something that Garion's been keeping in the basement of his tailor shop for far too many years, far more years than he should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that this pet. So the concept for this is thus: your beloved pet has gone missing. You need to find them before they get killed or someone else killed. Worst of all, no one knows whose fault it is that they got out. So Garion has a pet alligator in the basement.
Uh-huh.
I guess. Or it could be something more mythical, but I like the idea that he's just been keeping a pet alligator in the basement because he's kind of a dipshit.
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion that it's a crocodile instead of an alligator?
Yes.
Okay.
Love it. Where did he get a crocodile? And I see where this is going. All right. So somebody has left the door to his enclosure open.
Mm-hmm.
Our episode starts with Gary coming up from the basement and slamming the door open and saying, "Which one of you?" He takes a deep breath. He doesn't need to breathe. He takes a deep breath for show. Which one of you left the door to the basement open? What are you guys doing when Gary comes up from the basement?
Kiki is painting her toenails.
Moonflower is sitting in a corner playing probably on a mandolin at this point. The same like 6 notes over and over again.
Incredible. So Gary stops and says, "I'd appreciate if you stopped feeding on us right now. This is a crisis. Cease that horrible noise."
Flower stops and like the twang of the last string just kind of echoes off of the mandolin. She looks at you and she's like, "Oh, sorry." And she puts the loot in a bag in a bag that, you know, clinks around with other stuff in it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Peaches has gone missing. Which one of you bastards left her cage open?
I feel like you're looking at me. I feel like Moonflower is like in this. He just knows it's her.
Yeah, no, he's pretty sure it was her. But I don't know. What if Kiki went downstairs to feed one of his own victims to Peaches the crocodile?
Christ. Kiki is like, I don't even know that Peaches can climb the stairs.
Well, clearly something had to happen.
Clearly, yeah. But I mean, I didn't leave the door open.
Well, somebody did. He looks immediately at Moonflower. What were you doing downstairs with Peaches? Were you playing her some of your music again? And
I wasn't downstairs. I didn't open the crocodile's cage. I didn't go downstairs. It wasn't me. And she looks all but innocent. I mean, she's just
Garion is like ready to destroy her. He's like, his like fangs are like, he's like, "You did this. I know you did this. I don't know how to prove it yet, but I know you did this."
I think there needs to be a cutaway to the confession screen.
Mm-hmm.
Confessional, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the confessional, and Moonflower's looking at the TV, and she's like, she goes, "Yeah, I totally left the door open. It was me. But I'm never going to tell him that because no."
It cuts back to Garion just yelling at them like, "I know you did this. I don't know how I'm going to prove it, but I can assure you when I do, there will be consequences." And he turns on his heel and he walks out and he starts walking down the street going, "Peaches!" And that's the end of our beginning scene.
Okay. Good.
Incredible.
Do we want to have a twist?
Do we? I mean, the twist is very easy. It could very easily be like, I mean, like it's a crocodile. But do you want it? Do you? One of you guys want to roll for the twist?
I really like the implications of this has happened before.
That is really funny. I also really like the implications of this has happened before.
Agreed totally.
Oh, thank God. I'm glad we're on the same page about this one. Oh my God.
Yeah. Liz, since I had the last scene in the last one, do you want to start us off here?
Sure, I can definitely do that. So Moonflower is, while not admitting to anything, is feeling slightly guilty as far as she feels guilty about anything, and so is helping actively look for. She is taken out what she thinks alligators eat, and is just kind of going around downtown, down their street with a stake dangling off of a string that she's made up, and calling Peach's name, and looking
Gary's walking around with a disembodied human arm.
Oh my God.
and she's looking in the bushes. She's looking under things. She's kind of trying to figure out in her head where an alligator crocodile might go. So she's starting to look for water features that might be in the area as well. But she gets to the point of, oh, if we think that this is something that has happened before, maybe she starts knocking on the neighbors' doors, asking about if they've seen Peaches.
Okay.
Good grief. Okay. Do you want to play through some of those scenes, or do you just want to describe who that goes?
Oh, let's play through some of those scenes because I think it's going to be hilarious how that goes, especially if she shows up with a piece of steak and a disembodied arm in the background. Because I think you should wave the arm at the neighbors as they open the door.
Oh, good grief. Okay.
So she goes up to the first house and knocks.
The door opens and it's a very tall woman. And she goes, "Can I help you?"
We have lost our pet. She got out. We're looking for her. Have you perhaps seen Peaches?
The woman raises her eyebrows. From behind her, you can hear two more voices, and one of them goes, "Babe, who is it?" She goes, "A neighbor. I'm dealing with it." This exceptionally tall woman looks down at you and says, "We have not seen your pet."
Okay, if you happen to see Peaches, just we live down the street. I think we talked the last time. I don't know.
I've seen you before.
Okay.
We have not seen your crocodile. If we do, we will be more likely to call animal control than you.
No,
and the woman slams the door in your face. This is Bersion, by the way.
I was gonna say, I love Burse.
Miva and Kazdelian are inside.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Flower shrugs, turns around, and she goes, "Nope, they haven't seen her," and keeps walking down the street and goes to the next house.
Yeah.
Knocks on the door loudly.
Garion is far enough away at this point that he is no longer present for this. Danielle, do you want to take this next neighborly interaction?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So the person who opens the door is the same blonde person that you saw at town hall or the courthouse an episode ago. And he opens the door and looks up at you and kind of blinks a few times. And he's like, he looks like he's about to say, "It's you," but then stops himself, and says, "Can I help you?"
Moonflower is thrilled. It's finally a friendly face. And she goes, "Hi, you are so helpful. I need help now. We're trying to find Peaches. Have you seen Peaches?"
Is Peaches an animal?
Yes. Peaches got out of the basement and she's probably hungry and frightened and lost, and we just want to bring her home.
Oh, that's terrible. What is, and he looks at the steak that you were holding, and says, "Is Peaches a dog?"
Oh no, Peaches is a crocodile.
Oh.
And she just blinks like this is the most normal thing of conversation. Doesn't everybody have a crocodile?
Well, I can say with some certainty that no, I have not seen Peaches. Uh, are you allowed to keep crocodiles in this county?
It's not my crocodile. It's Gary's, it's Gary's crocodile. And she goes, and she just kind of laughs it off at that point. She's like, like, they keep them in the sewers. I don't understand why they can't keep them in the basements.
That's really just a myth.
Not for long, it's not.
She kind of squints at him and she goes, "Are you sure?"
Yes, I am sure.
She just kind of nods like, "Oh, you poor sweet summer child, you just haven't seen the world yet." And she goes, "Well, if you do see Peaches, let us know. We're at the tailor shop. Thank you."
Have a good luck.
Again, she tries to hug, but then it probably turns around and walks away.
Good grief.
She yells down the street and says, "He hasn't seen her either."
Well, keep looking.
Okay.
Garion is like shaking this poor, like disembodied arm like at the sewer grates on the street, like Peaches. God, this sucks.
Christ.
Right? This is the worst. This is so stupid. All right. Whose turn is it now? I guess it might be my turn to roll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Searching the house and yard.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad the audience is enjoying this. So Garion's gonna get back to the house and be like, well, since obviously searching the neighborhood was a bust, I say we search the entire home top to bottom. Where's Kiki in all of this?
So Kiki didn't get up to help you canvass the neighborhood because her toenails were drying.
I see.
But by now, I think the paint is set, and she puts on some flip-flops. And she says, she kind of like slaps her hands on her thighs and stands up like, all right, I'll look around the yard if you'll start in the main living area.
Garion's like glaring at her. You're being awfully calm about this.
I mean,
My dearest darling, my Peaches has gone missing and you're just sitting around like nothing's happened.
We got her back last time. It's fine.
Barely. Can you imagine what would have happened if the county got a hold of her? They would have taken her from us.
I mean, yes, they would have. That would be, in fact, tragic.
How are we going to get rid of all of the various bodies of my meals unless we have her?
And she looks like really concerned for a moment, and she's like, "I'm gonna go check the yard."
Finally, you're taking this seriously. Garion like stomps up the stairs. You're not going to find her upstairs, dude. Like, you're not going to find her upstairs. We see a couple more shots of just like that Garion running through the halls, yelling her name, waving a human arm around. Garion does not find her. How's Flaky doing?
So I think this might be a clout skill.
Hell yeah.
Solve a problem for someone else. And because I currently do have clout, I think I roll with 2 dice. So I'm gonna roll
Hell yeah.
2d6 and see what I get. I got a 6. So I think she finds I think in the yard she is running around, or not running around. She's walking around very purposefully, being very thorough in her search. Actually, fuck it. She turns into a werewolf and is sniffing around
Hell yeah.
for like any kind of scent. And I think she actually comes to find Garion because she has picked up on a trail, and so she wants to let him know. But she's a wolf, so she can't talk. So she kind of trots up to Garion. I think as a werewolf, she just looks like a particularly large wolf, like large and shaggy. Not like Twilight large, but like large. Which I have to specify because like once I looked up how big wolves are, and it's like the size of my
Wait.
dog.
Wait,
Which,
you have
like,
a really big dog?
I have a Great Dane. So
Oh,
like
yeah, you have a big dog.
yes, I have a big dog. But also like my sense of big is skewed. So like I look at Arrow, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a big dog, but like are
That's a
wolves
horse, not a
only that
dog.
big?
It's a horse, not a dog.
But yeah, like bigger than that, not as big as Twilight wolves. And
Hell
so
yeah.
she trots up to Garion and kind of sits wagging her tail, and
Garion is gonna look down and go, finally, you've decided to do something useful. Have you caught a scent?
she
He's like
nods.
leaning on his, he's like leaning down, like with his hands on his knees, like he's talking to a dog now, because it's like, all right, well, this may be my friend, but also puppy. Excellent. Well, show me where she is, girl. And he like pats her on the head and is like, lead the way. And I'm gonna say this is letting somebody else take control, which is a whoop. Let someone be in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And that means I get to roll a die and see if I gain some clout.
Mm-hmm.
2. I do not gain any clout.
Rip. All right. So, what complication occurs?
What complication occurs? I don't know. You lose the scent.
Yeah, I think that's
You know
probably
what
the
I-
simplest thing.
You know what I know? You know where you probably lose the scent?
Uh-huh.
Entrance to the sewers.
Uh-huh.
Where else?
Yep. Yeah, so she leads Garion all the way to the entrance to the sewers. It's not like the closest entrance to the sewers, but it's one of them along the street. And she kind of sniffs at it for a little bit and then sits down and whines.
Garion makes a face and is like, well, ugh. Suppose we may as well. And we're off.
And
We're in the
off.
sewers now. Garion has turned into a bat in order to fit through the bars to the sewer entrance, and has turned back into a person on the other side.
Mm-hmm. God, how the fuck does Kiki get down here? I don't fucking know.
Garion lifts the manhole and goes, well, are you coming?
Yeah.
He like lifts it from below. He has super
Mhm.
strength because he is in fact a vampire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she manages to squeeze in there somehow. And we're in the sewer. I think I really like of these scenes, I think number 3 is perfect.
Oh my god.
Which is
Oh,
find the wrong but similar pet. And so I think they're in the sewer, and has Moonflower caught up with them at this point?
Yes. Moonflower has been trailing behind, kind of.
So I was gonna say, I think it would be very funny if we just find Moonflower down here.
Oh yes.
if,
I love that.
if Moonflower was just like already in the sewers and just hadn't bothered to tell us.
Mm-hmm. Even better, Moonflower is holding a thing that looks like Peaches.
I love this. Yes.
Another alligator.
Yeah. I like the idea that it is an alligator and not a crocodile.
Yeah.
And so like Moonflower is holding up this alligator as we come. Like Kiki's been sniffing along the sewers, and has clearly not been able to pick up an actual scent trail.
So you're just sort of like leading me around, and Garion is like, "Yes, I totally."
Yeah.
I have an idea for the ending of this game, for the ultimate ending of what we do about our pet being missing, but I'm gonna keep it to myself for a minute
Okay.
until we kind of get there.
Okay.
But I've got sort of an inkling of the sort of quote unquote happy ending of our episode.
Okay.
So Moonflower is cuddling this alligator and calling it Peaches, and is delighted to see you all.
Yeah. Gary's gonna take one look at it and be like, "That's not Peaches, you dumb idiot. Look at her." Or him. Look at it. Obviously, Peaches is a far more beautiful creature than this.
Moonflower looks at you, looks back to the alligator, looks back to you, and she's like, okay. Can we keep it?
He sort of glares and he goes, "You may do whatever you want, but it's not going into my basement." Turns on his heel and stalks off, making splashing noises as he goes.
Moonflower keeps feeding the new alligator pieces of steak. Little bites of steak.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Amazing. So we have another hour. We have another hour after we hit the hour, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Incredible. I'm starting to lose steam, honestly. I've been in class all week. I'm very, very tired.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that at this point, we're going to reach at least the beginning of our resolution, and then we can sort of trail off from here. Garion is going to come across Peaches.
Mm-hmm.
And Peaches has a friend.
Oh.
Ooh.
So Garion is going to come across what appears to be a small colony of of crocodiles in the New York City sewers.
Uh-huh.
And they're all going to swivel their heads up to him at once. And he's going to look down and go, "Oh, look at you, dear." And he's gonna go stand there and do that thing that people do with their pets where he rubs the top of the head, and it's like, this is a fucking alligator, dude. You're gonna get bit. But like, whatever. He's like, "Oh, look at you. You've got friends." "Oh, well, I couldn't remove you from this party." And all of them are just like staring at him with their beady little eyes.
Good. Great.
And you can see that as this is not the first time that she has escaped, she is standing over what appears to be a nest containing eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Absolutely. You get the weird eye flash and it's horrifying. So he's like, "Oh, Peaches has become a mother. Friends, do come here."
Yay!
Kiki trots up and like does nose touch with Peaches. And sniffs at the eggs. The crocodile does a crocodile growl at her, and she's like, "Oh, okay, sure, fine. It was just
See,
sniffing."
she blames you for letting her out. "My poor dear, are you going to be all right down here on your very lonesome?"
Moonflower is just like, "Oh, look at that! Look! Oh, she is just totally enamored with the whole family."
Has Kiki turned back into a person by now?
Yeah, I think she turns back into a person specifically to give you a stink eye and be like, I did not let her out.
Anyways, Garion's gonna turn back and be like, "Of course you didn't. It was obviously Moonflower. I still blame you for this, by the way, but I'm willing to forgive you because it seems that my girl is very happy." And I think that the episode ends on a couple of shots of, of Garion directing people to put a larger sewer outlet into their basement so that Peaches may come and go as she pleases.
Uh-huh. Where does Moonflower keep this alligator? And more importantly, what does she name it?
I believe so.
It's going in the backyard if it's going anywhere.
Exactly.
You're not bringing that thing into my house.
I think that Moonflower has created this little, she's already growing little plants and stuff out there. She puts in like this little makeshift water feature for the alligator, and she puts it, and she's definitely going to call it Poppy. She likes Poppy.
Aww.
Oh, Poppy and Peaches.
Peaches.
Oh,
I should have been playing Varian with a higher voice this whole time, but man, I'm tired and I got a cough.
Mm.
So you get this. My deep voice. Prissy little man. Anyways,
yes,
Gary, I feel like the episode ends with Garion being like, Peaches is very happy now in her new home with her new family. Look at them. And he pulls a baby crocodile out of his fucking pocket.
Beautiful.
Shows it off to the camera.
It does the crocodile baby noise.
It makes a little laser sound effect. It goes, pew! Actually, I think those are something else, but even still, it's very funny.
Yeah, alligators mostly, but I'm pretty sure gators also or crocs also make them.
I love it. I love it.
Yep. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
No, they definitely make that sound because they're half gator. Whoever Peaches found was an alligator.
Yeah, no, exactly. They're like a horrible little crossbreed of large scaly animal.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a very, very, very much fun. Yes. I don't know how much longer I can keep playing this game today.
Yeah.
Closing credits with little birthday hats on the crocodiles.
Yes, absolutely. We get a little after credit scene, as is so common in what we do in the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And in this after credit scene, all the little gators are wearing little birthday hats, and Garion is trying to is feeding them pieces of a new yet another victim.
Mm-hmm.
For all Garion's assertion that he mostly drinks bagged, which is to say he steals bagged blood from blood trucks, like blood donation trucks. He does do a lot of killing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, also, if they're baby crocodile, you're not going to feed them a whole person at once.
It's true.
This is really morbid. I don't want to talk about this.
Sorry.
Will gave us a donation. Excellent. Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Will.
Beautiful. So, why don't we do some outros here and plug where we can get this game?
Absolutely. This game is a lot of fun. I wish I could have had a little bit more background music. I could have played some stuff in the really made it a whole production, but I didn't have much time to prep for this. I was in class all week.
Yeah, mood same. This has been Low Stakes by Craig Campbell. You can find it on Drive-Thru RPG. I recommend going and buying it. It is a very good game.
Yes, it is. I recommend buying a physical copy of it because I just really enjoy having it to hold in my hands and put it on my shelf. And it's good.
Mm-hmm.
For outro's purposes, as always, I have been Sam. You can find me on Twitter at SACALOW, and you can find my art at samkalo.art. And that's my portfolio website.
Mm-hmm.
Playing with me today, I have had Danielle.
Yeah, I've been Danielle. You can continue to find me on the internet at RedTailTalk90. You will see me again at 7 p.m. today playing Trophy Dark. We're going to have a nice horror game for all of you. Gonna be scary, Wild West themed. So, fun
That
things.
sounds fun.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited about it. Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
So there's another hour until the next game starts. I'm not entirely certain if they're going to want to try to start early. Brian is on his way back. But we can also take questions or character questions would be fun.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
So the next game, which is work-life balance, will begin at 4 as normal. So as soon as Brian is back, we will go ahead and end this particular stream like we normally do so that we get nice cut-up VODs. And then that stream will begin at 4 Eastern.
Why don't in the meantime, why don't you guys tell me about your characters' backstories a little bit more?
Be cool.
If you know anything about them. I mean, I have a lot of info for Garion because I've been developing his backstory as a sort of urban fantasy character since 2015. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and hop off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That sounds
I
good.
don't mind doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, those of you who are still listening to half of a conversation, we are going to technically go on Be Right Back so that you will no longer hear our lovely voices, but we will be hanging out in chat to answer questions, talk, see how everyone's doing in the meantime. So if you want to hang out with us, that is awesome. Gonna talk about Kiki, who I will also be playing for season 3 of Roomware if you want
Hell yeah.
more information about her. But yeah, come back definitely at 4 Eastern. Peace.